After a 6-month business trip with her boss, my wife came home pregnant. When I angrily demanded answers, my wife merely smiled. I did it for my career, too. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being useless. Even if I had a child with you, you couldn't afford to raise it. My wife offered me 2 million yuan to divorce her. I casually threw the 2 million yuan away. Ruyan, don't regret this. The day my wife returned from her business trip, I ordered a huge bouquet of Juliet roses from a florist and hurried to the airport. Ruyan had secured a project for our company this time, and it promised enormous profits. Several senior executives were waiting at the airport too. We stood there until our legs went numb, before I finally saw a crisp, tailored trench coat come into view. I waved hard and shouted my wife's name, but the moment our eyes met, my smile froze. After 6 months apart, Ruyan still looked sharp and capable, but as my gaze lowered, I saw the swell of her belly. The executives beside me instantly fell silent, and all turned to stare at me. Honey, you. Before I could finish, our company's general manager, Zhenlang, stepped forward from behind Ruyan. He affectionately wrapped an arm around her shoulders and asked with concern, "Still feeling nauseous? I bought you some sour plums." Nausea. Sour plums. I stared at Ruyan in disbelief. What's going on? Zhenlang shrugged helplessly. Qiang, you can see it yourself. Ruyan is over 5 months pregnant. She's really not feeling well. Ruyan had been away for 6 months, yet she was 5 months pregnant. Zhenlang was openly telling everyone that my wife had cheated on me and was carrying another man's child. Then, his cheerful voice sounded beside me again. What are you all standing around for? Go congratulate Vice President Liu. The profit from this project could match half a year's performance for our company. The other executives swarmed forward, and someone bumped into me. They crowded around Ruyan, congratulating her, while the roses in my hand fell to the floor and were instantly trampled into the dirt. Someone suggested, let's throw Vice President Liu a welcome back dinner tonight. But Ruyan declined. Sorry, everyone. The trip has been exhausting. I'm truly a little tired. Besides, the baby in my belly wants to rest too. I'll head home first. Hearing that, a flicker of hope rose in me. So, she hadn't forgotten that today was our 5th wedding anniversary. But the next second, she came to a stop in front of me. Qiang, you should go home first. When I'm feeling better another day, we'll have a proper talk about us. Then, Ruyan got into Zhenlang's Maybach, without sparing me another glance. Deep in my heart, a dull ache spread. I stared blankly at the scattered petals on the ground, turning over the title Vice President Liu in my mind. Ruyan had been promoted again. Ever since joining the company, she had risen through the ranks far faster than I had. Team Leader Liu, Supervisor Liu, Director Liu, and now, Vice President Liu. I watched the distance between us grow wider and wider. Until this moment, she was pregnant again. I still remembered when Ruyan discovered she was pregnant a year ago. She was extremely upset. She seized my collar and demanded, Qiang, you deliberately didn't use birth control, did you? Don't think you can trap me with a child. I knew Ruyan didn't want to be a housewife, so I explained. I'd always followed her birth control requirements to the letter. As for this child, perhaps it truly was fate, and my mother was gravely ill then. She wanted to see her grandson before she passed. I begged Ruyan to keep the baby, but Ruyan still took the pills and terminated the pregnancy. After my mother learned of it, she wept and called me useless. I couldn't even protect my own child. That very night, she passed away. It devastated me. I was depressed for a long time. Perhaps Ruyan felt guilty about it too. That day, she did something unprecedented and came to explain. Work was demanding, and the pressure to advance was immense. This baby had come at the wrong time. Qiang, give it another year or two. We'll have another child. During our 5 years of marriage, she devoted herself entirely to her career. I did my best to manage our home, so she wouldn't have to worry about it. Every detail of our home's decor now was personally handled by me. Ruyan liked sparkling things, so I had a handcrafted crystal chandelier custom-made in Italy. She didn't like takeout, so I learned to cook from short videos. For our anniversary, Valentine's Day, and her birthday, I always prepared a surprise. But all I received were Ruyan's cold, disgusted looks. Qiang, I don't like celebrating these holidays. You don't need to do any of this. Ruyan said she didn't like sharing private relationships on social media. On her social media, I had never appeared either. Tonight, however, I saw that Ryan had made a social media post. The 2000th day since I met you. How lucky I am. In the photo, two glasses of red wine clinked together. But on the other person's wrist, I saw a Rolex Deepsea. That watch was in Ryan's purchase history. I'd thought it was a surprise she'd bought for our 5th wedding anniversary. It turned out I was the only one fooling myself. It felt as though a pair of hands were squeezing my heart, making it hard for me to breathe. So, Ryan didn't dislike sharing private relationships on social media. She simply didn't want to share me. I sat numb in the living room, staring down at that post for a long time. Eventually, my eyes ached, and my nose stung. Perhaps, from then until now, only Zhenlang had ever held all of Ryan's affection. Ryan and Zhenlang were childhood sweethearts. She once filled 3 thick notebooks with her love for Zhenlang. Later, Ryan's father mismanaged his business, and the company went bankrupt. Her father jumped from the company building to his death. The Qiao family then firmly opposed their relationship. Ryan was 20 that year. She decisively dropped out of school. To make money, she worked as a model, washed dishes in restaurants, and even worked as a bar hostess, drinking with patrons. Those places were full of shady characters. Ryan was beautiful, so naturally she soon drew unwanted attention. That day, I was heading to the design firm to revise some blueprints. There, I happened to see Ryan after she'd gotten drunk, staggering along as if she might collapse at any moment. Behind her, several sleazy men were waiting for their chance. The moment she fell, they would make their move. I didn't hesitate. I went straight over and caught Ryan. Are you all right? Should I take you to the hospital? One of the men immediately pointed at my nose and warned me not to meddle. Ryan glared at me warily at first. Back then, she was like a wounded hedgehog, small and helpless, yet still bristling with every spine she had. My heart suddenly softened. Don't be afraid. I'm not a bad person. I'll take you to the hospital. At the hospital, Ryan was on an intravenous drip. She leaned on my shoulder and cried for a long time. She told me what her family had gone through and spoke of her unfulfilled dreams and regrets. The next day, when Ryan sobered up, she asked if I would marry her. It wasn't until many years later that I learned that day was also Zhenlang's engagement day. I'd always believed my reunion and marriage with Ryan were a match made in heaven. In the end, I was merely a fallback she chose in a fit of spite. I lay awake all night, my mind filled with everything about Ryan. Early the next morning, I went to work with red, swollen eyes. Honestly, I spent all night unable to make sense of it. That morning, I wanted to ask Ryan face to face. In her heart, what was I to her? When I reached the director's office, Ryan's male assistant, Zhang, stopped me. He wore an unreadable smile. Group lead he, Vice President Liu and the general manager are in a meeting. You can't go in. His expression was full of contempt. I froze. My hands clenched into fists. Trembling slightly, I forced down the turmoil raging inside me and asked him, when will Vice President Liu be available today? Zhang crossed his arms, leaning against the doorway. That's going to be a problem. All day today, Vice President Liu is unavailable. Group lead he, I'd advise you to wise up. Vice President Liu is the general manager's woman now. Just quietly accept being cuckolded, and you'll have plenty of chances to rise through the ranks. The moment he said that, laughter erupted around us. No man, hearing words like that, could remain unaffected. My blood boiled, unable to hold back any longer. I swung and punched Zhang. Say that again if you've got the guts. Zhang was all show and no substance. After taking my punch, he fell flat to the floor, crashing into a nearby desk. There was a loud clatter. Soon, the door to Ryan's office opened, but it was Zhenlang who came out. Frowning, he asked Zhang, what happened to your face? Fighting is forbidden during work hours. At the question, Zhang instantly looked ready to cry. General Manager Qiao, you and Vice President Liu were discussing business inside. So I asked Group Lead he to wait and come in later. But he suddenly raised his fist and hit me. He even knocked out one of my teeth. Just then, Ryan slowly strolled out. She shot me a reproachful glare. The moment I saw Ryan, my face darkened. She was always so put together. No matter the circumstances, she always carried herself with poise. But today, Ryan's shirt was inside out. Zhang was right. Ryan and Zhenlang really had been in the office. Doing something too shameful to speak of, didn't I say? During meetings, no unauthorized people are allowed in? When Zhang Chen saw Ruyan, it was like seeing his savior. A grown man actually burst into tears in front of everyone. Vice President Liu, I failed you. I couldn't stop group lead he. After all, he's the project team's lead, while I'm only a lowly assistant. Before Ruyan could speak, Zhenlang glared at me in displeasure and sneered. Just a team lead, and you're throwing your weight around like this. You really are something else. I cut them off. My eyes settled on Ruyan. Like I said yesterday, we need to talk. Seeing Ruyan was still so impatient, I suddenly felt that the way I was acting was utterly undignified. 5 years of marriage. Even if it had to end, I wanted to give it a proper ending. Zhenlang didn't like that. He pointed in my face, ready to curse me out. Ruyan raised a hand to stop him. Forget it, Zhenlang. I'll talk to him. Then he won't keep bothering me. At the coffee shop downstairs, Ruyan told me bluntly, the baby will be born in 5 months. I want him to be born legitimate. Let's get divorced. My hands stirring the coffee suddenly stopped. Although I'd already guessed this would be the outcome, hearing those words from Ruyan herself still made my eyes burn with tears. Ruyan thought I was unwilling. She took a bank card from her bag. There are 2 million in it. Consider it compensation for me. I looked up. I stared silently at the card, then suddenly laughed. 5 years of love, worth 2 million. I really don't know whether that means I'm valuable or worthless. I slowly pushed the card back to her. I don't want it. Ruyan raised her brows in surprise. Qiang, you only make 6,000 a month. You couldn't earn 2 million even if you worked for 20 years. Are you sure you don't want it? After getting my firm answer, Ruyan looked at me with contempt. Just as I thought, Zhenlang was right. It isn't that you don't want it. You want more. She stroked her belly, leaning back in her chair. Go on. What is it you really want? I didn't answer her. Instead, I asked a question. After I divorce you, will Zhenlang marry you? A flash of anger crossed Ruyan's face. Of course he will. Zhenlang and his wife don't have any feelings for each other. He promised me he'd divorce her. Besides, I'm carrying a Qiao family heir. His whole family is eager for a grandson. Seeing the happiness on her face, as she dreamed of her happy future, I shut my eyes tightly and spoke in a trembling voice. Fine, as you wish. After our talk, I returned to the company, but I heard my team murmuring. Did you hear? Vice President Liu is carrying General Manager Qiao's child. Who would have thought? Group lead, he looks respectable enough, but he's just living off his wife. These days, making money is nothing to be ashamed of. Ha! I walked straight in. They instantly fell silent. Normally, I'd always treated my team well. I never thought they'd talk about me like this behind my back. Go on. Why do you stop talking? Everyone lowered their heads. No one dared say another word. If you don't meet this month's targets, don't expect any performance bonuses. Just then, someone muttered, You've offended General Manager Qiao. Let's see how long you stay team lead. I walked up to him. Looking him in the eye, I said, If I want to, I can stay at this company longer than you, no matter what. He understood what I meant. Frightened, he apologized again and again. Group lead, I was wrong. Please don't fire me. That night, at the celebration banquet, the entire company attended. I sat below the stage, watching Ruyan shine on stage. My heart was full of emotion. In truth, the moment I decided to divorce Ruyan, I never planned to stay at this company. After all, I'd left my job at the Design Institute to join this company, just to help her. Over the years, Ruyan and I worked together. I helped her land many contracts and secure her position in the company. I thought my quiet devotion would one day be seen by her. I never imagined it would end like this. Ruyan had surely forgotten. 10 years ago, she and I had already met. That year, because I looked like a girl, a gang of thugs cornered and beat me in an alley. Ruyan suddenly appeared, like an angel from heaven. She held a brick in her hand and drove them away from me. Why are you crying? They're bullying you. Fight back. The warmth Ruyan once gave me has stayed with me to this day. Let today be the last time I witness her shining moment. During the banquet, I went to the restroom. There, I heard Zhenlang bragging to someone else. See, guys, my good looks did the trick, didn't they? I lied to Ruyan that I still loved her, and she was willing to have my child. You have no idea how cheap she is. She used to be a hostess who drank with clients. Why would I ever marry such a filthy woman? I kicked the door open with a bang. I grabbed his collar and slammed him into the wall. You bastard! Ryan loves you so much. How could you betray her? When Zhenlang saw it was me, he cursed in fury. Qiang, are you out of your mind? Your wife cheated on you, and you're still defending her. What are you? Some pathetic lapdog. Zhenlang had plenty of friends with him. I was outnumbered. Before long, they pinned me down and beat me. As their fists rained down on me, I suddenly heard Ryan's voice. Stop! What are you doing? The moment Zhenlang saw Ryan, he signaled the others to stop. I couldn't wait to tell her. Zhenlang was no good at all. But all I got in return was Ryan's freezing stare. Enough? Qiang, I never thought you could be this malicious. This morning, I actually felt guilty about you. I never imagined you'd been trying to drive Zhenlang and me apart. As Ryan walked away without looking back, I lowered my head in defeat. Ryan, this time, I'm the one who doesn't want you anymore. The fight at the celebration banquet caused an enormous stir. Several photos were taken and shared in every group chat. I suffered a minor rib tear and spent several days in the hospital. During that time, Ryan didn't call even once. The day I was discharged, I received a termination notice from Human Resources. Human Resources coldly informed me that my performance was inadequate, so the company had decided not to retain me. I didn't respond. I walked straight into the company, but Zhang stopped me outside the office again. Group lead he, please don't make this difficult for me. Vice President Liu said, she doesn't want to see you. As soon as he said that, he seemed to remember something and covered his mouth. Oh my, how could I forget? Qiang, you've already been fired. You're no group lead he anymore. Sorry, unauthorized personnel are not allowed inside. As he spoke, Zhang took out a small cardboard box. Inside were all the things from my desk. Zhang looked smug and triumphant. Take it. I packed everything up for you. Take it and get out. He was never sincerely returning my things. The next second, Zhang let go. The box crashed to the floor. I'm so sorry. My hand slipped. I gave him a humorless smile. It's fine. You're impotent. Of course your hands shake. Zhang choked on my retort. Qiang, who are you calling impotent? I had no time for him. I shoved him aside and stormed up to Ryan. She was handling documents at her desk. At the sound, she didn't even look up. I know you object to the company's decision, but the fact is, you assaulted Zhenlang. Ryan paused, then continued. In any case, I've done everything I can to help you. Your severance pay will be paid in full. I said nothing. I simply threw my resignation notice onto Ryan's desk. Stop right there. I came to tell you 3 things today. First, I'm here to resign. I don't want your severance pay. Give it to whoever wants it. Second, if you like that scumbag Zhenlang, keep him for yourself. I have no interest in driving you two apart. Third, these past 5 years, I was blind. Make time so we can get divorced. Ryan hadn't expected me to be so decisive. She put down her work and stared at me in disbelief. Qiang, do you know what you're saying? Your severance package is twice the standard statutory amount. Are you sure you don't want it? That would still come to tens of thousands. It was indeed no small sum, but I truly didn't need it. After completing my resignation paperwork, I stood outside the company building and called a former colleague from the Design Institute, Engineer Zhang, about that contract I recommended to you earlier. I've thought it over. Forget it. That company's qualifications are inadequate. There could be serious engineering flaws. Back when I worked at the Design Institute, I was mainly responsible for engineering design because I was highly capable. My superiors valued me greatly. 3 years ago, when I decided to resign, many leaders at the Institute couldn't understand why. They even promised me a promotion to make me stay. But I had only Ryan on my mind and gave up my future. The day I left, Engineer Zhang had declared, Qiang, you're giving up your current position for a woman to become a low-level employee at our contractor. That is a terrible waste of your talent. Back then, I was young and headstrong. I truly believed love could overcome anything. I pounded my chest and promised my colleagues that I would have both a happy family and a successful career. Instead, I ended up like this. I had it coming, but Engineer Zhang could tell something was wrong from my tone. Like an older brother, he asked me, Xiao, you don't sound like yourself. Are you unhappy working there? Why don't you come back to the Design Institute? Just the other day, the leadership was saying that your designs are the best in the entire institute. I gave a bitter laugh. After all this, could I really go back? Engineer Zhang didn't hesitate. That very night, he arranged a dinner gathering for me. He invited the leaders who had valued me back then, along with all my former colleagues. After several rounds of drinks, my heart was heavy, so I poured out everything that had happened to me recently. The more they heard, the angrier they became. They cursed Ruyan for being blind. She had a good man like me, yet insisted on becoming another man's mistress. One day, she'd regret it. But by the end, whether Ruyan would regret it, I didn't know. But I certainly did. A grown man like me cried with tears and snot running down my face. In the end, my former boss made the call. He told me to settle my personal affairs and report to the Design Institute next Monday. Same benefits, same position. I was deeply moved. I said nothing more. I grabbed a bottle and drank straight from it. When I got home, it was already past midnight. The moment I walked in, I saw the living room lights were on. Ruyan sat on the sofa, looking furious. She demanded, "Where have you been? Why are you home so late? Do you know I've waited 2 hours for you? I'm starving. I'm so hungry I'm shaking." Hearing that, I froze for a moment. If you're hungry, then eat. Can't Zhenlang order you some takeout? But unexpectedly, that one remark brought tears to Ruyan's eyes. Qiang, you've gone too far. I was fairly drunk, so I sat down on the sofa too, and poured myself a glass of water. Ruyan thought I had poured it for her. She had just reached out. When she saw me raise the glass to my own lips, her face darkened with rage. Back when we were married, I treated her like a queen. Whenever she came home, I would set out her slippers. For every meal, I made dishes to suit her taste. Since Ruyan usually had dinner engagements at night, every day, I would prepare a glass of honey water and leave it on the table. But tonight, I had prepared nothing for Ruyan. Ruyan simmered in anger for a long while, before finally speaking as though she were doing me a favor. "Fine, go make me a late-night snack. I'm hungry." I raised my eyes and looked at her. Ruyan spoke again. "Go on. What are you standing there for? Don't you know a pregnant woman can't go hungry?" Seeing the entitlement on her face, I suddenly felt that all these years of marriage, everything I had given, was utterly ridiculous. After hesitating for a moment, I still got to my feet. Only then did Ruyan's expression soften. Sitting on the sofa, she continued, "It's so late, so just make some sweet and sour pork. Then stir-fry some shredded pork with green peppers. Don't forget, make it extra spicy. It'll help my appetite." But the next second, she realized I wasn't heading into the kitchen, but the bedroom. Ruyan shot to her feet in fury. "Qiang, what do you mean by this?" My answer was the sound of me slamming the door. That night, I slept exceptionally soundly. Once I decided to let this relationship go, I would no longer be troubled by Ruyan's hot and cold treatment of me, nor would I be hurt by seeing her and Qiao, Zhenlang whispering sweetly to each other at the office, my heart aching until I could barely breathe, unable to sleep all night. When I woke the next day, my head still hurt slightly. As I walked out of the bedroom, I saw Ruyan still sulking in the living room, but the table was already covered with fried dough sticks and congee with preserved egg and pork. She was speaking coquettishly into the phone. "Thank you, Zhenlang. The breakfast you had delivered is exactly to my taste." But I remembered that Ruyan had never eaten preserved eggs. After hanging up, she ordered me around as usual. "Go to the kitchen and make me some French toast and grilled sausages. I'm hungry." I suddenly found it almost funny. Even now, she still didn't understand that I had catered to her every whim before. Because I loved her, not because I was willing to degrade myself for her. "Isn't there plenty on the table? Just pick something and eat it." Ruyan hadn't expected me to talk back to her like that. Curious, she slammed down her cup. "Qiang, are you done yet?" I have one trait. I'm incredibly stubborn. When I love someone, I'll willingly give them everything without regret. But once I stop loving them, I cut ties quickly and refuse to waste time on rotten people or messy affairs. "Don't you have work today?" "Perfect. Then let's go get divorced." With that, I placed the signed divorce agreement before her. Ruyan froze for a moment, her eyes fixed on the divorce agreement. "Qiang, what game are you playing now? Didn't you used to love me like your life depended on it? You're actually willing to divorce me so easily?" I nodded. "I've figured it out. Since you don't love me, we should part ways." It's best for both of us. Oh, and I bought this house. I also handled the entire renovation. So, the house is mine. As for everything else, we'll follow the law. We'll settle it as required. After hearing me out, Ruyan gave a cold smile. Fine. We'll do it your way. We'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau shortly. On our way to get divorced. Ruyan was agitated the entire time. She was either cursing at other drivers, or calling to berate her assistant, Zhang for incompetence. In truth, she was upset because I hadn't clung to her desperately as she expected. Ruyan was used to being cherished by me. She couldn't accept how decisively I had let go. But for the sake of pride, she couldn't show that she wanted me to stay. I went with her to the Civil Affairs Bureau. We divided our assets and collected our divorce certificates. It all went very calmly. Ruyan, on the other hand, rubbed her belly and spoke smugly. Sweet baby, mommy is finally free now. Just wait a little longer. Soon, I'll let you meet your daddy. I turned and walked away, but heard Ruyan shout behind me. Qiang, we were married once. Where are you going? I'll give you a ride. But the next second, a black G-Wagon pulled up in front of me. Engineer Zhang rolled down the window and winked at me. Qiang, this used to be your ride. What do you think? Feel familiar? I sighed, opened the door, and got in. Enough talk. Get us back to the Design Institute. That proposal the director mentioned, I still need to finish within the next 2 days. Engineer Zhang looked at me in surprise. Come on, man. Are you trying to outwork everyone? It's only your first day back, and you're already trying to work us to death. My return was celebrated throughout the Design Institute. The moment I walked in, I saw my former assistant. She came over and handed me some documents. Director this project was launched last year, but management has never been satisfied with our designs, so it was put on hold. Now that you're back, management specifically requested that you lead the design yourself. I took the documents and nodded calmly. All right, I'll discuss it with the leadership over the next few days. Director several construction companies want to host you for dinner tonight. Would you like to attend, or should I politely decline? Hearing that, I turned to Engineer Zhang. He grinned. The director thinks highly of you. The moment you decided to return, he started spreading the word that a legendary expert was returning to our Design Institute. He even listed all the awards you've won and every high-profile project you've worked on. He's really giving you a grand introduction. Those companies that rely on our Design Institute for business would naturally come groveling to meet you. The Design Institute's legendary expert. Honestly, I prefer keeping my head down and working. I don't enjoy these flattering business dinners. I was about to refuse when I spotted a familiar company on the list. As for me, I always repay kindness and settle grudges. If someone crosses me and I don't get even, it eats at me. So I took the list and said, fine, I'll attend tonight's dinner. Time to get reacquainted with these companies. That evening, at Yuyuan, I had just entered the private room when Qiao, Zhenlang, and Ruyan stared at me in shock. Tonight's business dinner was by invitation from my former company. Naturally, I had to come meet them. But soon, Ruyan stood up, one hand supporting her belly, and snapped at me. Qiang, we have an important dinner tonight. Why did you follow me here? Her male assistant, Zhang, tactfully stepped in front of me. Qiang, man to man, have some self-respect, will you? President Liu doesn't love you anymore. What's the point of desperately clinging to her? Qiao Zhenlang sneered before the other executives. Love, my foot. He's just regretting that he got too little in the divorce, so he's here to demand money. As he spoke, he tossed a checkbook onto the table. Then he arrogantly asked me, go on, how much do you want? I'll give it to you right now. Take the check and get lost. Ruyan's expression darkened. The others at the table took the chance to flatter Qiao Zhenlang. President Qiao is truly magnanimous. What a generous man. He's nothing like certain small-minded people. Just as they were about to throw me out of the private room, Engineer Zhang walked in as well. The moment Qiao Zhenlang saw him, he hurriedly rose to greet him. Engineer Zhang. Hello. Why did you come alone? Where is the Design Institute's new big shot? Engineer Zhang paused in confusion, then pointed at me. Here he is. Qiang, what are you standing there for? Take your seat. You're the guest of honor at this table tonight. The instant he said that, everyone was stunned. Ruyan demanded. Qiang is the top expert the Design Institute recruited for a huge salary. How is that possible? Engineer Zhang failed to notice the strange atmosphere. He even poured me a glass of wine. Why wouldn't it be possible? Qiang was already an outstanding designer at our institute. The director valued him greatly back then. His future was limitless. Speaking of which, engineer Zhang grew indignant. Who would have thought this guy would, for a woman, give up his job at the design institute and become an employee at some tiny contractor firm? And guess what happened? That blind fool of a wife of his got involved with a married man and even got pregnant with another man's child. Everyone at the table exchanged looks. The room went deathly silent. Finally, engineer Zhang added, "Tell me, isn't a woman like that blind as a bat?" The executives' faces turned green, but they could only agree. Yes, a woman like that is just awful. Calmly, I picked up a piece of meat with my chopsticks and put it in my mouth. I couldn't be bothered to look at Liu Ryan's stiff expression. That dinner was painfully awkward. During the meal, Zhang Shen tried to toast me. Director He, you truly are an exceptional young talent. Allow me to toast you. At a dinner table, you should at least show someone that courtesy. But this drink, I really couldn't stomach it. I gave him a hollow smile. I'd better not. A toast from assistant Zhang is one I wouldn't dare drink. Only then did engineer Zhang realize something was off. He silently mouthed a question at me. What is it? Bad blood. I set down my glass, a cold smile curling at my lips. That woman with the big belly is my ex-wife. Oh, and the man beside her is the one she cheated with. Engineer Zhang's jaw dropped. My God, her affair partner. The moment he said that, everyone lowered their heads, afraid to speak. Zhenlang gripped his glass tightly. After a long moment, he finally swallowed his anger and rose with a forced smile. Director He, we were wrong earlier. I'll punish myself with 3 drinks. Please be the bigger man, and don't hold it against me. With that, he tipped back his head and drained his drink in one gulp. For a company president to apologize to me in public was already humiliating enough for him. But I hadn't let go of my anger yet. A faint, mocking smile touched my lips. President Qiao, that's not quite right. At the celebration banquet, you had someone beat me up. A few drinks can't possibly settle that, can they? Engineer Zhang could no longer sit still. He slammed his hand on the table. My God, the affair partner beat up the wrong spouse? How outrageously brazen. Zhenlang clenched his teeth. He glared at me furiously for a long time, before setting down his glass. There were some misunderstandings earlier. That's why things turned physical. Since Director He is still angry, I'll slap myself a few times. Hopefully, that will ease your anger. As he spoke, Zhenlang actually started slapping himself. Slap, slap. The sharp smacks rang through the private room, sounding especially jarring. Liu Ryan's eyes reddened. She looked at me with hatred in her eyes. Enough. She suddenly slapped the table and stood up. Qiang, we came to discuss a partnership today, not to be humiliated by you. Zhenlang had not stopped slapping himself. He shot her a cold glare. Liu Ryan, sit down now. How dare you speak to Director He like that? More than half our contracts depend on working with the Design Institute. Of course, Zhenlang didn't dare offend me. After being shouted at, Liu Ryan looked utterly wronged. Covering her mouth, she ran out the door. But Zhenlang ignored her completely. Director He, don't mind her. Let's keep eating and drinking. If you are still not satisfied, I'll keep slapping myself. I never meant to humiliate anyone. At this point, it was simply payback. But not long after Liu Ryan ran out, a scream came from outside. Oh my God, a pregnant woman has fallen. There is so much blood. I frowned. I immediately wanted to check on her. But Zhenlang spoke dismissively. Director He, ignore her. She is surely pulling another stunt for attention. Let's keep eating. Keep drinking. Still, I stood up and headed outside. I did not do it because I still had feelings for Liu Ryan. It was simply the conscience any decent person should have. Even if a pregnant stranger had fallen, I could not sit calmly inside and continue eating. Engineer Zhang ran out with me, and we found Liu Ryan on the floor. A huge pool of blood spread beneath her. Many people had gathered around her, but no one dared step forward. Zhenlang, save me. Liu Ryan was terrified. Crying, she begged Zhenlang to take her to the hospital. But Zhenlang thought it was embarrassing, and actually began cursing at her. What the hell is wrong with you? How could you fall like this in public? You are making a complete fool of yourself. Liu Ryan lay sprawled on the floor, covered in blood. In the end, I called an ambulance and got her into it. By the time we reached the hospital, the baby could not be saved. She was already 5 months along, so they had to induce labor. But she hemorrhaged during the procedure. In the end, Ryan's uterus had to be removed. From then on, she would never be able to have children again. When Ryan woke up, she touched her empty stomach and burst into anguish sobs. "My baby." Seeing her so heartbroken, I suddenly remembered a year ago. The cold look on Ryan's face as she swallowed abortion pills. She had been brought to the hospital, so there was nothing more for me to do. But as I turned to leave, Ryan asked me something. "Did Zhenlang come to see me?" My face remained expressionless. "No." Then, I walked out of the room. Behind me, Ryan wept so hard she could barely breathe. "I'm sorry." I stopped in my tracks. I heard Ryan say behind me, "Qiang, I'm sorry for what I did to you." No matter how badly Ryan had hurt me before, as long as she cried and apologized, my heart would soften, and I would forgive her. But this time, I merely said flatly, "I covered your medical bills." It came to a little over 6,000 yuan. Remember to transfer the money back to me. A simple "I'm sorry" is not enough of an apology. I wanted her to suffer as I had. Only then would it count as an apology. Our partnership with Zhenlang was, of course, over. His company lost a major contract. Zhenlang raged around the office all day. The first to bear the brunt of it was, naturally, his male assistant, Zhang. He made one small mistake, and Zhenlang seized on it. He was harshly berated, then fired. Zhang did not want to leave. He even went to beg Ryan for help. The result was, not only was Zhang fired, but Ryan was demoted as well. She went from the glamorous vice president Liu to the lowly project team leader I once was. Some former colleagues deliberately came to tell me that Ryan had lost all her power. Everyone at the company disliked her now, and often made things difficult for her. As for Zhenlang, he naturally fell back into his old habits. He soon got cozy with another young woman at the company. Then, at the company, there was another pregnant woman. Ryan would not accept it. She repeatedly went to confront Zhenlang. She demanded he divorce his wife and marry her. But all she received was Zhenlang's disgusted stare. One day, I went out to discuss a project. While waiting at a traffic light, I passed Qiao Corporation. A huge confrontation had broken out at its entrance. A group of women were yanking at Ryan, beating and berating her. They called her a seductress, accusing her of seducing other women's husbands. They said she had no shame. Yet Ryan stubbornly insisted that she and Zhenlang were childhood sweethearts, and theirs was true love. Zhenlang's wife answered with a vicious slap. Once they had beaten her enough, his wife left with the others, and Ryan was left like a piece of trash, discarded on the ground. She cried in utter heartbreak, but the moment she looked up, her eyes met mine. Just then, the light turned green, the car pulled away, and I slowly rolled up the window. I did not look at Ryan again. That night, a video of Ryan being beaten was posted online. She shouted, "The one who is not loved is the real mistress." It enraged the public. Netizens condemned her one after another, calling her the most shameless mistress alive. But Ryan clutched her 3 diaries, each filled with her love for Zhenlang. His wife tore them to pieces. Finally, Zhenlang said to her before the cameras, "Ryan, stop dreaming. Did you think I would marry a woman like you? With no money or influence. I only played around with you. So you would work yourself to the bone for the company, and give my wife and me a child while you were at it. Did you really think you were worth anything?" And that was not all. Zhenlang also posted Ryan's private photos online. In no time, Ryan was utterly disgraced. The next time I saw Ryan was 2 months later. After returning from an overseas seminar, I had just reached my front door when I saw a frail figure collapsed outside it. At first, I thought she was a beggar. "Hey, do you need me to call the police for you?" But when she raised her head and called my name, I froze for a moment. Ryan had once been confident and radiant, always full of energy. But now, her eyes were completely lifeless. Qiang, I regret it. Only now do I understand that in this world, you are the only one who truly loved me. She reached out and clutched at my pant leg. Can we go back to how things were? Back to the loving days we once had? Qiang, I cannot live without you. I tugged at my tie and sighed. I am sorry, but I have grown used to living without you. Just then, a young woman's voice came from behind me. Qiang, for tomorrow's meeting, which skirt looks best on me? The young woman who had once been my assistant and admired me was now my girlfriend. The instant Ruyan saw her, her body trembled. How could you? How could you find someone new so quickly? Qiang, didn't you say I was the one you loved most? Ruyan broke down, sobbing hysterically. It frightened my girl so badly that she kept hiding behind me. Qiang, who is she? I shielded her as I led her inside. As I shut the door, I said, no one. Just a lunatic. Still shaken, the girl said. She does not seem mentally stable. Maybe we should call the police. Do you think she is hungry? We could bring her something to eat. I gently stroked her hair. No need. By tomorrow morning, she will be gone. The instant the door closed, Ruyan's sobs behind us seemed sealed off in another world, muffled and faint. They could no longer stir even a ripple in my heart. The girl clutched my sleeve, her eyes full of worry and a touch of nervous caution. Qiang, is she really all right? What if she keeps waiting outside? I reached out and ruffled her hair, my voice gentler than ever before. This girl was Xiao. She used to be my junior assistant at the Design Institute. She was soft-natured, yet unusually clear-sighted. When I quit my job for Ruyan back then, she tried to talk me out of it several times in private, yet she never said much, only silently wishing me well. When I came back in such a sorry state, she did not look down on me in the slightest. Just as before, she stayed quietly by my side, helping me organize documents and listening to my troubles. Do not worry. Once she has made enough of a scene, she will leave. I took her hand and led her to the sofa. Then I poured her a glass of warm water. I was a fool before and wasted my heart on someone undeserving. From now on, I will not let anyone disrupt our life together again. Xiao nodded firmly, a soft glimmer rising in her eyes. She gently took my hand. I believe you. No matter what happens, I will stay with you. That night, as expected, Ruyan caused no more trouble. Only the occasional stifled sob came from outside the door, only gradually fading in the latter half of the night. Early the next morning, I opened the door. The doorway was empty. Only a patch of dried tear stains remained, along with a crumpled notebook of Ruyan's 3 diaries. It was the only one Zhenlang's wife had not torn apart. The cover read, "To my dearest Zhenlang." The handwriting was delicate, but it carried an obsessive, self-abasing devotion. I bent down and picked up the notebook. I casually flipped through a few pages. Every page was filled with her love and longing for Zhenlang. From the fluttering of young love, to her yearning after her family fell on hard times, then the wild joy of their reunion later on. Every word contained no trace of me. So it turned out, throughout our 5-year marriage, from beginning to end, I was only her way to escape reality, a fallback she settled for out of spite. After Zhenlang heard her, I was merely a temporary safe harbor. I let out a cold laugh and tossed the notebook into the trash. The old obsession, the love I once held so deeply, along with that diary full of absurdity, all needed to be put behind me for good. Xiao came over carrying breakfast. She saw what I was doing, but did not ask questions. She only said softly, "Breakfast is ready. You have a meeting at the Design Institute today. You cannot be late." When I arrived at the Design Institute, I quickly threw myself into work. With my solid expertise and past project experience, the long-stalled project I had taken over soon made a major breakthrough. My superiors could not praise me enough. They commended me repeatedly in meetings, calling me the Design Institute's steady anchor. My colleagues were also happy to work with me. The old barriers and distance between us had long since vanished. As for news of Ruyan, bits and pieces still reached me. Apparently, after she left my doorstep that day, she went to find Zhenlang again. But Zhenlang refused to see her and had security keep her outside the company gates. Unwilling to accept it, she crouched outside the company all day, exposed to sun and rain. Eventually, she collapsed from exhaustion. Passers-by took her to the hospital. After she was discharged, she still refused to give up. She asked everywhere for news of Zhenlang, even going to his home to wait for him. Instead, Zhenlang's wife brought a group of people to viciously humiliate her, then had her taken to the police station. After that, Ruyan became the laughingstock of their circle. Wherever she went, people pointed and whispered about her. They called her shameless and said she got what she deserved. Worse still, when her company learned of everything she had done, they fired her outright. Without a job, without savings, without her child, and without Zhenlang's protection, Ruyan's life fell completely apart. She sold every valuable piece of jewelry she owned and rented a tiny, run-down room. She survived on odd jobs every day. The once glamorous, confident, capable vice president Liu had become a destitute woman everyone avoided. One time, I went grocery shopping with Xiao. By chance, we saw Ruyan outside the supermarket. She wore old clothes faded from too many washes. Her hair was disheveled, and her face was sallow. She was crouched on the ground, picking up discarded, rotting vegetable leaves. A faint, greasy kitchen smell clung to her. I heard she washed dishes at a small restaurant nearby. She worked more than 10 hours a day, for barely any pay. Xiao saw her too. Instinctively, she tightened her grip on my hand and whispered, "Is that Ms. Liu? How did she end up like this?" I followed her gaze. My heart did not stir at all. As if I were looking at a stranger. Ruyan raised her head too, and her eyes met ours. Her gaze instantly grew complicated. There was shame. There was unwillingness to accept it, and a faint, almost imperceptible plea. She struggled to her feet, wanting to come toward us, but after only 2 steps, she stopped again. She lowered her head, her shoulders trembling slightly. I did not go to her, nor did I say a word. I simply took Xiao's hand and turned to walk into the supermarket. Xiao looked back at her, then softly asked, "Qiang, do you think she is pitiful?" Pitiful people always have something detestable about them, I answered softly, my tone calm. Her misery was all of her own choosing. Back then, she destroyed our marriage with her own hands, ended our child's life with her own hands, and pushed away the one person who truly loved her. Now that she has come to this, it is only karma coming full circle. She brought it upon herself. Xiao nodded. She said nothing more, only held my hand more tightly. As the days passed, Xiao and I grew ever closer. I was no longer the man who revolved around Ruyan, always anxious about losing her. I had found myself again, becoming confident, calm, and steady. I would take Xiao to the movies, walk with her in the park, and take her out for her favorite snacks. I would remember her birthday and our anniversary. I would plan little surprises for her. Whenever she had trouble at work, I patiently helped her work through the problem and solve it with her. The Design Institute's project progressed smoothly and was soon completed. The client gave it high praise. My superiors promoted and gave me a raise. They made me deputy chief engineer of the Design Institute and assigned me my own office. My life finally escaped the shadows of the past and finally stepped into a brighter life of my own. As for Ruyan, she never appeared in my life again, until one day, an old colleague from my former company mentioned her to me by chance. He said, Ruyan later left the city for a small town where no one knew her. Apparently, she found work there as a street cleaner. Every day, she rose before dawn and worked until dark, cleaning the streets. Her life was poor, but peaceful. Others said they had seen Zhenlang and his new lover vacationing at a resort out of town. Zhenlang treated that new lover just as he once treated Ruyan, gentle and attentive, showering her with affection. But no one knew whether that new lover would become the next Ruyan or repeat her tragic mistakes. As I listened to this news, my heart remained completely unmoved. Zhenlang or Ruyan, everything about them no longer had anything to do with me. All I knew was that my life was happy now. I had the woman I loved beside me, a career to pursue, and true friends. That was enough. One late autumn evening, I held Xiao's hand as we walked along the riverside path. A gentle evening breeze stirred, lifting her long hair and scattering the last shadows of the past. Xiao leaned against my shoulder and softly said, Qiang, I'm so glad you came back. I'm so glad we did not miss each other. I lowered my head and placed a tender kiss on her forehead. Then I softly said, it wasn't that we didn't miss each other. I finally came to my senses. I finally learned to cherish what I have. For the rest of my life, through storm and sunshine, I will stay by your side. We will never part again. The setting sun in the distance painted half the sky red. Its fading light fell over us, warm and radiant. I knew those absurd, painful, unbearable memories had all become history. From now on, in my eyes, there would only be Xiao, only our future, only endless tenderness and joy. Perhaps, even in the end, Ruyan never truly understood. Love is not groveling to please someone, nor a stubborn obsession, nor a fallback chosen out of spite. It is mutual respect, mutual cherishing, and being there for each other. She tore apart her own happiness with her own hands, and pushed away the only person who truly loved her. By the time she finally woke up, it was already too late. As for me, after betrayal and heartbreak, I finally stepped out of the shadows, found myself again, and met someone who knows how to cherish me. From this day forward, the evening breeze knows my heart, and the past is only a prelude. With a heart full of joy and love, together with Xiao, I will embrace the life that belongs to us, year after year. May every year be peaceful. The end.